How you doing, YouTube? It's I, another bearded gamer, back again once again with a new challenge video for the channel. Today we're going to be doing something fun and trying to find out, can you beat Pokemon Black 2 with only a Landorus? Right off the bat, I know that anyone who clicked on this video will be asking why I've decided to even make a video about this, because I must obviously be able to do this. Well, to the 9 subscribers that I have at the time of writing this script, if you watched my previous challenge run, I mentioned that my next run will be a lot easier due to myself having a very busy week. This video is coming out a week later than planned because I ended up being even busier than I thought I would be. So let's look at why I chose Landorus. Its stats alone convinced me that this would be a nice easy run. With a base attack of 125, we should be knocking everything out with at least 2 hits depending on super effective / not very effective hits. Landorus' moveset however is rather lackluster. However, due to it learning both ground and rock moves, he can easily deal really powerful neutral damage to every Pokemon within the game. Due to this, I think we will easily get through the entire game without being too high of a level. Let's just skip straight to the rules. In battle, I can only use Landorus. I'll be using other Pokemon to use HMs, but they will not be used in battle. No glitches or exploits may be used to make the game easier. No items can be used in battle. Only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of battle are allowed. Also, if you do enjoy the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Now let's get this started. Right off the bat, I used a universal Pokemon randomizer to replace Tepig with Landorus, so we can have it as our starter. I replaced Tepig so that our rival will pick Oshawott, as I believe that Samurott will be the most difficult for us to fight due to it being the only starter able to do super effective damage to us. I named Landorus Jafar because it was the only genie name that I could think of at the time. Jafar ends up having an impish nature which drops its special attack for more defense. Early game, the extra defense should be nice. The drop in special attack means that I would have to avoid using special moves wherever possible. Our first fight with our rival was a breeze. There was not a lot of reason to go too in depth for this fight due to how simple it was. Our second rival fight was only an issue because of where we missed a couple of mud shots. We still were able to easily take it down even though we were 2 levels lower. Time for Gym 1. Chirin and his normal type Pokemon. His Patrat went down to 2 mud shots and decided to deal no damage to us. Lillipup actually caused us some issues, only because we kept missing our moves. Mudshot looked like a 2-hit KO, but instead was an actual 3-hit KO. So on the turn Chirin healed, I went for a Rock Tomb to save on some Mudshot PP, dealing some decent damage. We missed our next one before it went down to another Rock Tomb. This gym was as easy as I thought it would be. Our only issue was our accuracy. I hope this isn't a common issue throughout the run. Our first attempt at Roxy's gym did not go very well. Her coughing caused more issues than I thought it would. Return did barely any damage, as did Coughing's Assurance. Another return took it to just above half, while Coughing's next Assurance critted us, doing some sizable damage for a Coughing. I go for a Rock Tomb, dealing similar damage to Return, as an Assurance does minimal damage in return. Coughing then dodges the next Rock Tomb before hitting us with a critical tackle. One more Rock Tomb takes Coughing down to a sliver of health, while a tackle takes me to 3 HP. Let's just say this battle was a loss. I did not expect to have to grind this early into the run. 1 level later, at level 15, we got a lot luckier at the start. We critted the Coughing, taking it down to just above half health. Our return then took it into heal range. 4 more returns were successful enough to take down the Coughing. We got a lot luckier against the Coughing this time. Whirlipede really messed up with its protection shenanigans and made this battle a lot longer than it needed to be. What was very frustrating was the amount of times we missed Rock Tomb. I honestly expected us to lose this attempt with the amount of times we had to deal with it. In the end, we beat Roxy and gained our second gym badge. Now for gym number 3, Berg and his bug types. Honestly, this gym was way more frustrating than it had any right to be. His Swadloon dropping our speed really messed us up when we went against his Leafani. We were able to take out the Swadloon and Dwebble without taking too much damage. Leafani just completely messed us up. Razor Leaf was a 3-hit KO with the amount of health we had left. We had only 2 chances to take it down. We missed our first Rock Tomb and our second one showed that we needed to hit 3 or to get a crit to beat the Leafani. We just cannot beat the Leafani at this level, I don't think. 7 attempts later, and at level 22, by the time we reached Leafani, we end up beating Berg and his frustrating bug types. Honestly, the leftovers I picked up from the sewers really were a lifesaver. Swadloon ended up going down without too many issues, and due to leftovers we were at full health when Dwebble came in. Double just went down to 2 bulldozers, so when Leafani came in we were at maximum health. Rock Tomb was a 5-hit KO after the Citrus Berry. The speed drops that Rock Tomb gives your opponent ensured that we were able to start out beating the Leafani at a crucial point, as we still had more than half our health left when we started being faster than it. Due to leftovers and speed control, we were finally able to grab the 3rd gym badge. Now for our first fight against Colress. Considering he focuses on using steel types, you can imagine how easy of a fight this was. His Magnemite was only able to deal damage to us because of Sturdy finally becoming a useful ability in this generation. It still went down with relative ease, as did his Clink. Such a simple fight. Now for Alyssa and her electric types. At level 26 you can imagine how easy this fight was. Imoga went down to 2 rock tombs, easy. Fluffy managed to live a bulldoze and nearly took itself out due to recall damage. Alyssa healed up Fluffy before it went down to a much needed critical bulldoze. Much sarcasm, I do swear. Zebstriker came out last and fell over after 2 bulldozers. Honestly, I don't think these gym leaders are prepared to go against a legendary or something. We already have our 4th badge and I'm barely breaking a sweat. Soon afterwards we face down Cowboy Clay and his ground types. We start off at level 30 while he starts with his 31 Crocorock, which drops our attack with an Intimidate, meaning we'll be dealing less damage for the entire gym battle. We go for a fly which takes Crocorock down to yellow as it responds with a Torment, forcing us to switch up our moves each turn until it wears off. We then finish it off with a bulldoze. Slanslash comes out and we hit it with a critical fly, taking it down to a sliver of health. It hits us with a Crush Claw, dropping our defense. Clay heals as we hit a critical return, taking Slanslash down to a quarter health. A follow-up fly leaves Slanslash on 2 HP before it hits us with another Crush Claw, dropping our defense once again. One more return successfully takes it down. Out comes Clay's ace and Excadrill. Our first bulldoze takes Excadrill down to about half as a Metal Claw does some decent damage in return. I then try to use another bulldoze, forgetting about Torment. A critical fly takes Excadrill down to red before a Citrus recovery. Metal Claw takes us down to about a third HP and then Excadrill goes down to another bulldoze. 5 gyms down in no time at all. Now for the PWT, our first attempt against our rival goes awfully due to us going down to a critical Water Pulse. How frustrating. Attempt 2 goes a lot smoother. This time we outspeed and our fly takes it down to red. Water Pulse takes us to half as Bulldoze then finishes off the Dewott. Simisage goes down to a fly and Tranquil goes down to a Rock Flow, then a return. A much better run. Charon was up next. His Stoutland dropping our attack was frustrating, but 2 bulldozers and a fly easily finished it off. Watchog came out next and went down to a fly and a bulldoze. Cinccino came out last and followed suit. Honestly, I feel like his team was a lot stronger in the first game. Colress was our last challenge. Each of his Steel type Pokemon went down to a single bulldoze each, while Elysium took 2 to go down. Honestly, he wasn't too much of a worry due to his Steel type focus. The next major battle and the largest roadblock we have faced so far was the fight against Skylar. Her Swoobat used Attract on us, meaning that we only have a 50% chance to actually hit our moves. It took us to half before Swanna came out, which outsped us and completely wrecked Landorus. We are going to need a run where we don't get attracted to be able to win this fight, I do believe. Half an hour and 3 levels later, the AI focused more on trying to damage us rather than hacking us. Swoobat went down to 2 rock slides. With it focusing more on damage, it was a lot more manageable to take down. Swanna came out and hit us with a super effective bubble beam, taking us very low. A fly was able to take it out with 1 hit. Last out was her Skarmory. 2 rock slides were able to easily take it out. We missed our second one, making me worried that we might lose this attempt, but our luck prevailed and we were able to attain our 6th gym badge. After what feels like an age, we finally have a proper rival fight. His Unpheasant goes down to a rock slide, his Simisage then goes down to a fly. Samurott then lives a fly, is able to live a bulldoze due to Hugh healing it up, as another bulldoze then finishes it off. I honestly expected more from him. Next up was a scary double fight against Zinzolin, who uses only ice types and a grunt. At level 43, we are successfully outsped by the Cryogonal Zinzolin starts with, and it takes us down with a singular ice beam. We need to be a high enough level to be able to outspeed the Cryogonal to even stand a chance. 1 level later, we outspeed the Cryogonal and are able to take it out with a rock slide. The Grunt's Golbat was taken down to red HP. Samurott went for a useless Encore, while the Golbat does some decent damage with an Acrobatics. Zinzolin switches in a Sneasel, which is faster than Cryogonal and therefore faster than us. It hits us with a Slash and not an Ice move, as the Rock Slide finishes off the Golbat and takes Sneasel down to yellow. Samurott then takes out the Sneasel with a Revenge. The Grunt then sends out a Garbodor, which goes down to a critical Aqua Jet from Samurott, and the Nerve Power from ourselves. The fights against Zinzolin are going to be scarier than I thought. Now for Drayden, the 7th gym leader and his dragon types. He starts with a level 46 Druddigon as we also start at level 46. We initially set up a Saurus Dance, raising our attack by 2 stages. Druddigon then hits us with a Crunch, doing some decent damage. We set up another Saurus Dance, giving us a ×3 in our attack stat. Druddigon goes for a Revenge, doing very little damage. We then hit a Rock Slide, leaving Druddigon on a sliver of health, as it does some nice damage with a Dragon Tail. We then max our attack with another Saurus Dance as Drayden heals up. This time Rock Slide finishes off the Druddigon, then we sweep for the rest of his team with Fly. I set up so much so we wouldn't be affected by Rough Skin if Druddigon had it. This was a simple fight and I loved it. Next up is another fight with Zinzalin. His two Cryogonals both go down to a rock slide each. Simples. His Weavile however has Ice Shard, which is a priority move. It means that it will always move first. His first one shows that it only needs one more to be able to take us out. We need to be at a level where one rock slide takes out the Weavile, because at level 49 we are just not doing enough damage. Finally, 10 attempts and 2 levels later, we are able to successfully take down the Weavile in one shot. There were many attempts when we just ended up missing Rock Slide against a Cryogonal or the Weavile, hence why it took so many different tries. Finally, time for the last gym, Marlow and his water types. His Caracosta caused us so many issues for such a bad Pokemon, due to having Sturdy, a super effective move, and Shell Smash, which doubles both its attacking stats and speed. I need to find a way of making sure it doesn't use Shell Smash, so we can then take it out before it takes us down with a +2 Scald. 10 attempts later, we finally get the run we needed. A Rock Slide flinches the Caracosta, meaning that it isn't able to use Shell Smash. I use a Sword Stance knowing that a Scald from Caracosta will not kill. The Scald does 100 points of damage, and Earth Power then finishes it off. Wailord goes down to a Fly, well technically 2 Flies as we missed our first one. Jellicent gladly goes down to 1 Fly, meaning we have earned our last gym badge. Now all we've got to do is take down Team Plasma before we take down the Elite Four. Now for another fight against Zinzalin and a Grunt. At level 57 we are 12 levels above Zinzalin's Cryogonals, which means that this fight was a breeze. Rockslide takes down his first Cryogonal and took the Grunt's Leopard down to just above red. Leopard then goes down to an Aqua Tail from Samurott. Same attack combo takes out the second Cryogonal and a Watchog. Weavile and a Scolipede come out next. Weavile hits us with an Ice Shard, doing over 100 points of damage. They both survive a Rock Slide. An Aqua Tail gladly finishes off the Weavile. An Earthquake then is successful in finishing off the Scolipede. We were so close to being done with Zinzalin and its frustrating Ice type. Now for our final fight against Zinzalin. We have both gained 4 levels since our last fight. Cryogonal goes down to Rock Slide, as does his second one. Weavile then goes and does the same amount of damage as last time, even with the level differences, before going down to 1 Rock Slide. I was honestly expecting for my last fight with Zinzalin to actually be quite a bit more difficult. Our final fight with Colress was as easy as you can imagine. His Magneton lives an Earthquake to Sturdy and hits us with a Flash Cannon, doing some decent damage. We use Rock Slide on the turn he heals, breaking his Sturdy. We then take it out with an Earthquake. Magazine Zone is up next. I use Rock Slide expecting it to also have Sturdy as it goes for a Flash Cannon. A follow up Earthquake finishes Magazine Zone off. Kling Klang is out next, and it has an air balloon, meaning that it can avoid our Earthquake. We use Rock Slide to break the balloon and end up flinching it. We finish it off with an Earthquake on our next turn. In comes a brand new Metang that just goes down to a single Earthquake. Last in is his Beheeyem, which goes down to 1 hit. With that now done, we have to prepare for our Kieran battle and Ghetsis. Kieran Black just made a massive boo-boo by going for a move that requires 2 turns to actually hit us, meaning we are able to take it out with 2 Rock Slides. I honestly expected the fight with him to be a lot more difficult. Now for the fight against Ghetsis. Honestly, his Cofagris' ability ended up making this fight a lot easier than it should have been. Our Earthquake takes Kofag to red as it misses a Toxic. Ghetsis then heals up Kofag as another Earthquake takes it to yellow. We then hit it with Fly, so we save Earthquake VP and then gain Mummy as our new ability. Mummy does nothing overly useful apart from replacing another Pokemon's ability with Mummy if that Pokemon makes contact with a Pokemon that has Mummy as an ability. Try saying that in one mouthful. Seismitoad comes out next and goes down to an Earthquake and a Fly. It leaves us with 138 HP when Hydreigon comes in. Hydreigon goes to about a quarter HP after a Fly as it uses a Dragon Rush against us, taking us down to 75 HP. And gaining the ability of Mummy. Due to it losing Levitate, I finish it off with an Earthquake. Next out was Electros, which survives a Rock Slide before hitting us with an Acrobatics, meaning it also lost its ability of Levitate. Therefore we can finish it off with a super effective Earthquake. Ghetsis then sends out a Toxicroak and a Drapion, which both go down to Earthquake. Honestly, Ghetsis' Kofag really made this battle a lot easier than it should have been. Now for our final rival fight. He ambushes us before we leave the victory road, so I am not at max health and I'm totally unprepared. His Unpheasant goes down to a Rock Slide. His Samurott comes in next and is able to lift an Earthquake before taking us down with an Ice Beam. Damn, that was just unfair. If we were prepared, we could easily win. Attempt 2 goes way better. We set up a sword stance to ensure we can take down Samurott with a single earthquake, and Pheasant then uses Swagger, which raises our attack by 2 stages, but confuses us. We hit ourselves in confusion initially, as Pheasant then hits us with a facade, doing some okay damage. We then break out of confusion and are able to take out Pheasant with a rock slide. Samurott goes down to an earthquake. Buffalont faces the same fate. Then Semi Sage goes down to a fly. You really should have not swaggered me. We now have to face the Elite Four. I start with Marshall and his fighting types because I want an easy win to start with. He starts with a throw which uses a rock tomb that misses as I set up the sword stance. I then take it out with a fly. I then sweep through the rest of his team with fly. Only his Sork survives a fly solely due to Sturdy. It then hits us with a rock slide before I outmaneuver Marshall to take out Sork with ease. I challenge Shauntal and her ghost types. She starts with a Kothag. I set up a sword stance before yet again sweeping through her entire team. I just do not understand why Game Freak gave each Elite Four member only 4 Pokemon in this game, when in Platinum each trainer had 5 Pokemon, which allowed for their teams to have much more diversity and difficulty. Grimsley and his Dark types face a similar fate as the previous 2 Elite Four members. The only time I got slightly worried was when Lipard used Attract on us. I was actually worried that we might not potentially beat him on our first try like we ended up doing. Genuinely, I expected more from the Elite Four members up to this point. Up next was former Battle Frontier Brain Caitlin and her Psychic types. Her Musharna actually caused us some issues. I started with an Earthquake knowing that she has both Reflect and Yawn, which could really mess us up. We take her to red as I use another Earthquake one to keep Musharna as low as possible. I then use 2 sword stances, one on the same turn as Musharna uses Yawn and the other before Lando falls asleep because I know Musharna will not be able to deal too much damage to us. We only sleep for 1 turn before we wake up and take Musharna out. We then sweep through Caitlin's team with a mixture of Earthquake and Rock Slide. Honestly, I expected this fight to be a lot simpler. Musharna was just too bulky and knows too many annoying moves. Now for our fight against the champion Iris. I was expecting this to be the most difficult fight so far, just because of the Pokemon she has and how threatening they are to an unprepared team, let alone a singular Pokemon. She starts with Hydreigon. We set up a sword stance before eating a Surf. We then proceed to OHKO the rest of her team, apart from her Haxorus, due to its Focus Sash. Even then we take it down without taking any damage, and with that we become the champion of the Unova region. To answer the question asked at the beginning of the video, yes, you can beat Pokemon Black 2 with a single Landorus. This run actually had some points that were way more challenging than I expected. It made me enjoy this a lot more than I should have, in my own opinion. I have a more challenging run planned for next week that may require me to get very lucky to be able to twin. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do not hesitate to comment down below another Pokemon you would like to attempt me to do a run with. So if you did enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my other content on the channel, and guys, I'll see you all next time. Peace.